Unbreakable bonds. The tale of Oliver and Max. In a small, quiet town nestled between rolling hills, there lived a boy named Oliver. He was a quiet and reserved child, with a heart as vast as the endless fields that surrounded his home. However, despite his kind nature, Oliver had a deep sadness within him that seemed to cast a perpetual shadow over his young life. He had no friends. Oliver's days were spent wandering through the picturesque countryside, alone and lost in his thoughts. His classmates at the local school seemed to have little interest in a boy who rarely spoke and never smiled. He longed for companionship, someone to share secrets with, someone who would understand the world as he did. One autumn afternoon, while taking his usual walk through the woods, Oliver heard a faint whimper. He followed the sound until he stumbled upon a small, scruffy dog with pleading eyes. It was a stray abandoned by its owner, and it seemed just as lonely as Oliver felt. Without hesitation, Oliver extended a hand towards the shivering creature. The dog, cautious at first, sniffed his hand before tentatively licking it. In that moment, a bond was formed between a lonely boy and a stray dog. Oliver decided to name him Max. From that day forward, Oliver and Max became inseparable. Max was a faithful companion, always by Oliver's side, offering comfort and unwavering loyalty. They would explore the woods together, chase squirrels, and watch the sun dip below the horizon in the evening. Max's joyful antics and playful nature began to coax smiles out of Oliver, little by little. As the days passed, the friendship between Oliver and Max grew stronger. Max's presence filled the void in Oliver's heart, and he was no longer the lonely boy who never smiled. Instead, he was the boy who had found his best friend. People around the village noticed Oliver's transformation. They marveled at the sight of the once solemn boy now grinning from ear to ear as he played with Max in the park. The children from his school who had previously ignored him were curious about the sudden change. One afternoon, a group of children approached Oliver as he sat with Max under the shade of a massive oak tree. They introduced themselves and asked if they could join in the game of fetch that Oliver and Max were playing. Oliver hesitated for a moment, but then smiled and welcomed them with open arms. Max happily wagged his tail, sensing that his owner had found the companionship he had always longed for. As days turned into weeks, Oliver's circle of friends continued to expand. He was no longer the lonely boy who never smiled. He was the boy with a radiant smile and a heart full of friends. And at the center of it all was Max, the stray dog who had changed Oliver's life forever. Through the love and friendship of a loyal canine companion, Oliver had discovered the joy of connecting with others. He had learned that true friends would stand by you, even when you thought you'd be alone forever. In the end, it was the unconditional love of Max that had brought light to Oliver's life and turned his world from one of solitude into one filled with happiness and friendship.